Ashima Goyal joins us. Ashima Goyal is a member of the Monetary Policy Committee of the Reserve Bank of India. So she has a good understanding of what's happening in the RBI's think tank and is tracking the macroeconomy. And I want to spend a moment talking about employment with Dr. Goyal. I've got figures from the Center for Monitoring of the Indian Economy, which looks at monthly unemployment rates. And one of the big challenges, make no mistake, in the build-up to this budget is how to deal with the employment challenge. And one of the ideas that's been mentioned is that we must now have the government giving employment-linked incentives. Like you've got production-linked incentives, let there now be employment-linked incentives. When companies achieve a certain employment target, they get some financial incentives. Then we heard from economists that this would be a wasteful way of spending scarce government resources. How do you come out on this question, and whether you think, ma'am, that this could be a potential way of trying to create jobs? Because those who are watching at this moment, forget everything else, what they really want is Naukri. How do you think Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman should try and address that challenge?
Jobs is the number one priority. I've written recently that looking at the last elections, the kind of populist schemes on offer, the only way to defeat that in the long term is really to have more broad-based participation in growth. But I think that our fisc has been distorted because of all kinds of subsidies, and considering that we have a very large population, we can't keep doing that. So I think it's about giving signals for the correct allocation of resources, helping labor-intensive industry, exports, helping agriculture, because agriculture, non-farm rural jobs, and as well as exports, food processing, that's very important from a monetary policy point of view to reduce food inflation in the future. So rather than give industry more SOPs, which tend to lead to distortions that you can't foresee, I think we should give signals for and support labor-intensive sectors. Give signals to send resources to labor-intensive sectors.
Okay, so we've got these images coming in from Parliament, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi has just walked into the new Parliament building, where in about 40 minutes from now, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will present her record's 7th successive budget. So these are the images of the Prime Minister just walking into Parliament. Now, the other thing, and I want to welcome Ashok Saigal at Frontier Technologies to our broadcast as well. The other thing the government talks about is the need for investment by private enterprise in the India story. And I want Ashok Saigal to try and give us his sense individually and by talking to other companies around him about the investment appetite at this moment. We were looking at, and I want to show that data once again to our viewers for those who've just joined us. We were looking at utilization figures, which shows that capacity utilization on a quarterly basis has been a flat line. The trend has been rather flat at about 74.7% in December 23, and it's really been in that 72.4 to 76 kind of range, and isn't hitting the 80% figure when an investment cycle is supposed to kick in. So when do you see this happen? Why do you think capacity utilization is kind of flatlining in the way that it is, and what do you think the Finance Minister can potentially do to try and spur investment?
Thank you very much for having me here, and it's a very interesting question. You said we from industry and particularly from the MSMEs have always been saying that we look forward to a continued investment in the infrastructure and continued high investment by the government in developing in its public spending, because this is what will trickle down to increase the production. Now, you've talked about capacity utilization.
It is now reaching a zone where they're saying that puts the onus on the government to spend. They're saying we've been doing the heavy lifting, now it's time for India Inc. to step up and start investing. Their balance sheets have been cleaned, they're green now, much healthier than the past, they benefited from corporate tax cuts. This is where India Inc. needs to start investing aggressively.
I think there are two sides to this. You've talked about investment, you've talked about capacity utilization. If there is additional investment and additional capacity is created, and yet the demand remains the same, the capacity utilization will only drop. I'm sure that is not in the national interest at all. So what we need to do is to have this driven by a demand rather than investment. Now, once the demand is there, let me assure you that industry will not stay back. Industry, after all, wants to make money. And to make money, if it has to increase its capacity, let me assure you it will do so. Now, when the need arises to do that, what we hope the finance minister and the government will do is make it easier for the investors or the industry to be able to raise the finance that it wants to raise. So I would insist that, in my view, the capacity utilization question should follow demand generation, and demand generation can be done very easily by government spending. That will put money into the hands of the people who will buy more. There will be a capacity constraint, and of course industry will want to invest in that. So I think let's not put it's somewhat of a chicken and egg situation, but I think the answer to me is very clear, that demand must be put before we put in the request for investment, otherwise the capacity utilization will fall and the efficient use of the financial resources will be adversely affected.
You know, one of the things that was said is that there is lack of demand because consumers aren't optimistic about their current situation and the future. But if I actually show you the data, you'd be surprised to find that the consumer confidence outlook actually seems pretty strong. So I'm going to show you consumer confidence outlook just at this moment, and then you'll get a sense of how consumers are actually viewing the current situation and future expectations. This is data from the Reserve Bank of India till May 24. Now, if you see, consumer confidence, which came down to 88% in July 23, has actually gone up in March to about 99%, and in May 24 was at 97.1%. So this is the confidence around the situation at this moment. When the same question is about future expectations, then the consumer confidence is even higher. In July 23, it had come down to 117. Now it stands at 125. How do you explain this? Ashima Goyal, one of the, like Rajiv Kumar was saying, and the others were saying that, okay, consumer demand is down because consumer confidence is down. But RBI data actually shows over the past 1 year, consumer confidence has actually gone up from 115, 116 to about 125.
Yes, consumer confidence has recovered quite robustly after the pandemic. So I would like to make the point that this capacity utilization is an average figure. There are industries that are running into bottlenecks, and in the MPC we look at detailed industry balance sheets. We see that there is a rise in physical assets accumulation. A lot of specific industries, steel, cement, wherever industries are running into bottlenecks in EVs, in green industries, there is a lot of investment going on. We also see banks' intention to lend is remarkably high. So I think investment is rising. And the other issue is that this cycle, we want this to rise sustainably, not a big stimulus for consumption without adequately addressing the supply side, which will be inflationary. This is what stymied our high growth in the 2000s and led to very high inflation in the 2010s. So a sustainable rise in consumption and investment feeding each other as income rises, confidence rises. We are seeing very healthy growth and financial stability, which should drive a smooth catch-up high growth cycle without excess stimulus or excess demand or instability.
Okay, one of the focus areas will be on capital spends, and we'll hear from the finance minister where she intends to spend more. They've already allocated historic amounts. The other thing will be on social spend. So I'll take a look at some of the Prime Minister's key schemes, and we'll try and look at how the allocation for these schemes has actually changed over the years. So this is the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, the cleanliness mission, which in financial year 19 had an allocation of 15,300 crores. After that, it came down. In financial year 25, it was 12,200 odd crores, the allocation for Swachh Bharat cleanliness. From there, I come now to Ayushman Bharat, which is health insurance, and it'll be interesting to see if health insurance allocations actually go up. Here, it started with 2,600 odd crores in financial year 21, going up to 7,500 crores for financial year 25, which is the budget estimate for this year. So this is as far as Ayushman Bharat is concerned. From there, let's come to Awas Yojana, which is the housing scheme of the Prime Minister. As we traveled during the elections in different villages in far-flung areas, people with great pride said, okay, this is the Awas Yojana house. They had a little certificate outside their houses. So as far as Awas Yojana is concerned, the allocation came down in financial year 24 to 54,000 odd crore rupees. And in the budget of financial year 25, it was increased to 80,000 odd crore rupees. Now, I want to ask Harsh Madhusudan Gupta, from a political perspective, you know, what is good about this government is they're not spraying money by marginally increasing allocations to all sectors, right? They're choosing some focus areas, whether it's the Pani Mission, whether it is the Awas Yojana, and then pumping in money there so that there is some saturation and visibility. What do you think are the political imperatives on the back of the Lok Sabha elections, before the assembly election? Where will the government focus its sectoral spends?
Rahul, you're absolutely right. Instead of just spraying money, it's more of a smart safety net. Actually, on the health scheme, there's data cited in the economic survey that the Pradhan Mantri Yojana on the health scheme has actually increased credit offtake and reduced GNPAs and NNPAs. So it actually makes...
You're not allowed to use abbreviations without explaining.
So basically, so non-performing assets have gone down because of the health scheme that only has 7,000 crore rupees will go up this year. More broadly, I think it is very important to create a broader safety net as the economy becomes more competitive, more innovative. What is known as creative destruction happens. So by having more welfare schemes, it actually allows the growth engine of India to take off further. So long as it is not unconstrained cash. Even Rajdeep was speaking about the Maharashtra scheme. Even the Maharashtra schemes, for example, for young men and women, it is actually apprenticeship for 1 year to go to ITIs or to be in a particular factory unit. It's not
so
cash
Rajiv
just for
Kumar,
graduating.
in the Niti Aayog
but it's
pipeline,
not very different from what the Congress said in its manifesto.
I'm not talking about BJP.
And the
Congress.
BJP,
No,
but that's you see, the reality of the matter is all these schemes involve a lot of cash. You're saying that we will give you ITIs and apprenticeship. Effectively, what you're saying, you're putting cash in your hand. That's what they want to do.
It's only if you work in a factory.
No, so can I ask this question to Rajiv Kumar? In the Niti Aayog pipeline, is there a big idea? Because see, the Prime Minister on the back of this general election result might want to show that there is some, like for example, the Jal Jeevan Mission was a new idea. And first they came with the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, pumped in money over there. Then they came in with the Jal Jeevan Mission that we'll have a pipe and water going into every house. In your pipeline, what are the other new ideas?
There should be, I don't know about Niti Aayog now, but there should be 3 good ideas here. One is apprenticeship, increase it 10.
Congress will say, "Hamara idea le liya."
No, it has been this government.
But that's okay. It's a good idea. Take it and run with it.
It's a German idea.
That's the way to keep skills and demand, together and create people who are employable. That's one. Second is the Ayushman Bharat for the next 500 million. The bottom 500
so
million.
So increase allocation substantially.
To increase allocation because the next 500 million, that still makes it 1 billion people only. 400 million still remain out of that cover and they can be covered by their private needs. And the third idea has to be, the third idea on this one has to be the increase in education outlays. Because our education system for the primary, universal access to high quality education must be a publicly available facility for everybody because that will create employment.
We're seeing these live images from the new Parliament building where Prime Minister Narendra Modi, flanked by Dr. Jitendra Singh, who's the Minister of State in the Prime Minister's office, they're walking in.